Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Mothers-in-Law from Hell and it's by user realistic_average20. Mother-in-law says my daughter is only for my family. My fiance, 25 male, and I, 24 female, have been together for a year and a half and got engaged a month ago. We had a beautiful baby girl 3 months ago and she's just perfection. The issue, however, is my soon-to-be mother-in-law. If I wrote everything that has happened in the past year and a half, it would be an entire book, so I will spare the goriness of all that. For the issue on hand, however, I do need to give a bit of background. My fiancé and I live an hour away from his family and only 20 minutes from mine. He moved away from his parents after coming back from college for work. I moved in with him in November from my parents' house after finding out we were pregnant. My mother-in-law has had an issue with my fiancé living away from them since he moved in 2022 and has even blamed it on me. She, father-in-law, and sister-in-law have made both blatant and passive-aggressive comments about how my fiancé doesn't come around often enough or that him and I only spend time with my family. Which we did spend more time with my family because for the majority of our relationship I was living with them. Anyway. Since we had our daughter, mother-in-law makes even more comments about how she wants her granddaughter to know her and wants to actually have a relationship with her. She has even gone so far as to stop speaking to my fiancé for weeks because she thinks my parents spend every day with our daughter. Side note, they don't. I spend time at their house with my daughter while my fiancé is at work sometimes. He does a sort of shift work. She thinks we, my family and I, stole him from her and that my parents are trying to replace her. Sister-in-law has 3 kids, to which mother-in-law is the sole babysitter and honestly has the kids more than sister-in-law does. So my fiancé is thinking she wants our daughter to herself like she gets with the others. It's possible, maybe. I think she has had an issue with me since the beginning for no apparent reason and wants my fiancé to move on. Am I overreacting? Maybe. Should I retaliate and keep our daughter from them, only bringing her around during holidays and birthdays? I'm tempted to. When we get invited over, it's usually only my fiancé and our daughter that get an invite. My fiancé and I have addressed this, to which mother-in-law replied, "It's implied that OP is invited." I'm honestly just irritated at this point. She went as far as to remove my fiancé and I from her Facebook after we asked her to tag me in a post she made of our daughter. She had only tagged my fiancé and sister-in-law, then got defensive when my fiancé told her it was rude not to tag me, kind of just wanted to vent, y'all. Damn, OP, your in-laws sound like a lot of work. I think it'd be kinda exhausting. However, the way you say that you're handling it with your fiancé seems to be pretty straightforward and right. Your fiancé stands up for you and your daughter when he has to and keeps your in-laws in line. The only thing I would add is that I wouldn't allow anyone to post pictures online of my kids. And I would actually sit down with my fiancé to talk to him about this and see that he gets his family to stop posting pictures of your kids. It doesn't matter if they tag you or not. There's just too many weirdos out there with access to social media and sometimes people don't even private their accounts and they're just public. Now, if your in-laws refuse and tell you, "Oh, I have the right to upload whatever picture I want," fine, upload pictures of you, but you're not getting access to my kids anymore. And what is your opinion? Let me know in the comments section and now let's check out the community comments. Button Humper says, "I'd make her wish come true. She thinks we only see my family? From now on, we only see my family. She wants to raise your baby like she raises her daughter's kids because anything less isn't worth it, so that's exactly what she would get. Nothing." And OP responds, "I've almost gotten to this point already. I was out of town with our daughter for an event my sister was in with my family. Mother-in-law texted my fiancé and said, 'Maybe we'll drive up there so we can actually see y'all.' He wasn't even there. They ignore our very few invitations to visit at our house and in our town and only want to see us if we go to them. Traveling with a baby is a lot and we have 2 dogs at home." Honestly, she complains that we don't go see her with the baby, but won't drive to us. She complained also that fiancé doesn't call her enough. No Stage 6158 says, meh, no proper invite, me and baby stay home. You can't speak to me properly or respectfully, you don't get any alone time with my kid. Frankly, I'd encourage my significant other to look for better jobs that would put more distance between you and them and bounce. And OP responds, if only. He works a very demanding job that is super particular on who they hire. He's looked at other cities, but they either didn't hire him or said he wouldn't fit in with the crowd already there. When he was looking, she would constantly send him departments in other cities that were closer to her. He told her no and never even clicked the links. And Live Western 1389 says, OP, you know that you're not doing the things mother-in-law has accused you of. It makes absolute sense, and it's also just plain old common sense that baby's going to see a grandparent more often if they're only 20 minutes away as opposed to an hour away. I would just let her words go in one ear and out the other. She's just trying to create a problem where there is none. And OP responds, yes, exactly. Growing up, my dad's parents lived down the road from us, while my mom's lived 4 hours away. My sisters and I would stay at my dad's parents multiple times a week when we only saw mom's parents a few times a year, and they never complained because they knew why. Alright, well, the community gave OP some things to think about regarding maybe just going full no contact or no visiting unless the in-laws come to visit. Now, OP gave us 2 updates to the story, so let's continue with the first one to see what happened next. Hey everyone, I have a small update regarding the ongoing issue with mother-in-law about my fiancé and I not visiting her enough. My fiancé and I decided to ask his family and mine to lunch the day before Father's Day. This is an attempt to get both sides together before we start heavy wedding planning, and also so we're able to celebrate my dad, father-in-law, and my fiancé all in one. My parents were immediately good with it and accepted the invitation. My in-laws, however, took 3 days to respond, and my fiancé was instructed by mother-in-law to ask both parents separately. In the end, they accepted, so we will see how this lunch goes. We'll update if anything happens. Today is my fiancé's birthday, so his parents gave him a call this morning to wish him a happy birthday. The call went as I expected. Father-in-law asking about work and money, mother-in-law was nosy and judgy about how I was going to cook dinner, etc. However, we missed sister-in-law's birthday in May, and her youngest child's birthday is at the end of June. On a day my fiancé and I will be busy with his parents, so we will be missing the kid's birthday party. Mother-in-law ended the call asking my fiancé if we can pick a day to go to their house to celebrate all 3 birthdays in one. I'm weary just because I know there will be backhanded comments the whole time, and we're very busy in the coming months. At the same time though, I'd rather not cause any more issues. What should I do? Our daughter will be 4 months this month, so she will obviously be a big part of the celebration. I hate playing past the baby, and since my in-laws have barely seen her, I know they will push to hold her a lot. I have postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, so my list of people I fully trust with my daughter is very short. My in-laws are not on that list. Should I wear her in a wrap so they don't ask? Would it be better to just say no point blank when they ask? We are in a state where a normal summer day gets to 100 degrees on a good day, so having her in the heat terrifies me already, and the in-laws usually want to be outside. Thanks everyone for listening. Yeah, OP, I totally get it. I don't like the pass the baby around game either. So if I was in your shoes, I would talk to your fiancé and ask him to help you play interference when anybody wants to pick the baby from your arms. I'm sure your fiancé is on your list, so maybe he can take her whenever somebody stretches their arms out. Or if it's too hot, you can also say, you know what, it's a bit hot for the baby, so I'm just gonna go inside with her or something like that. Anyways, let's move on with the final update to see how this story ends. Alright, I said I would update and here it is. A lot has happened, so I'll try to give ample information. We went to the early Father's Day lunch with both mine and my fiancé's family. One long table where my fiancé, my daughter and I were at one end. We had the baby in the car seat, so we needed the end. My family arrived when we did, on time, and the in-laws arrived about 10 minutes after. So they were down one side of the table, farther from us than mine were. They said hello and hugged my fiancé, said hi to my family, and gave a sideways hello to me. I was holding the baby in my lap. I need to add that the day before this, our daughter got her 4-month shots, so she was not fully acting herself and was being clingy to us, as expected. So cordial how do you do's were passed around, and ultimately my fiance spent most of the lunch talking to his parents while I talked to both him and mine. I was the farthest away from the in-laws. My fiance and I passed out Father's Day gifts and a late Mother's Day gift to mother-in-law. She was convinced my fiance and sister-in-law went in on the gift, even after my fiance told her I made it. Now, if you will remember, I mentioned that we did not want to pass the baby around. We stood firm on that, and it was either my fiance or I holding our daughter the whole time. Sister-in-law came up to me, reached out her hands to grab my daughter and said, "Can I take her?" So I politely said, "We don't want to pass her around today, we are going to keep her with us." She then made a face and walked back to her seat. I need to add that her 3 kids, 5, 5, and 2, were down by me, talking to me and my daughter a lot during lunch. And father-in-law came and said hello to both the baby and I, which was nice. Fast forward to before everyone left. Sister-in-law came over and kept getting very close to trying to pick up the baby, but never did. She took photos of her and just kind of lingered. Mother-in-law asked my fiance if she could hold the baby, and my fiance calmly explained why she couldn't. She then pouted and said she was ready to leave. She never once came up to me or our daughter though. Words were exchanged and she ended up leaving without a goodbye to anyone but my fiance. When we left, my fiance immediately got aggressive texts from sister-in-law, accusing him of lying to them about why he wears a ring on his left hand. I bought him one when he bought my engagement ring, and he chose to start wearing it when we got engaged. But aside from that debacle, she then sent very strong texts angry with us for not letting them hold our daughter, and threw in many a curse word. There was even a text that was somewhat threatening to both of us. This went on for a few hours, with my fiance ignoring most of them. That night, she posted photos of our daughter from lunch and didn't tag either one of us, but did tag mother-in-law. This is a huge deal to us for safety reasons, and the reason mother-in-law removed the both of us from Facebook after we asked her to tag us. I will admit I was a bit petty, but I left a comment on sister-in-law's post thanking her for the non-existent tag. She then proceeded to text my fiance that it was her Facebook, so she could post whatever she wanted, along with more curse words. My fiance told her that she can post our daughter as long as she tags us, to which she responded with, "Well, don't ask to see my kids since I can't see yours." There were more, but my fiance ignored them. Mother-in-law sent a long text blaming my fiance for how sister-in-law acted and for how everyone is feeling. Then, yesterday, I decided to text mother-in-law to try and clear the air and explain our side of things. It was a very long message and she replied with her own lengthy response. However, nowhere in it did she acknowledge anything I said, gave excuses for their behavior, and defended sister-in-law. So right now, no one has spoken to my fiance and we've decided to let it sit and see what happens. At this point, we do not want sister-in-law anywhere around our daughter until we get a firm apology in person. Thanks for reading, y'all. Well, OP, I have to say, I don't think that's gonna happen, so I would just move on with my life without expecting anything, and don't contact them anymore. If they want to see the baby, then they should visit, first with an apology, of course. So on that note, here's wishing you, your fiance, and your baby the best in the future. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit True Off My Chest, and it's by user New Technology 7689. My daughter-in-law is proposing to my son, and I couldn't be happier. My daughter-in-law, a pediatrician named Lexi, called me today with the most wonderful news. She intends to propose to my son. Lexi is such a sweet, hardworking, thoughtful, no-nonsense woman, and my son always remarks on how loved and respected he feels by her. I've never seen him happier. It warms my heart to see him so serious with someone after all these years. She is truly the daughter I have always dreamed of. I raised my son as a single mother for 29 years and had to be both mom and dad to him. His father walked out after his birth. Seeing him so deeply in love and respected by someone as amazing as Lexi fills me with pride and joy. I get to be girly with her and share my love of jewelry, which I plan to leave entirely to her. The entire family adores her and they are all excited to meet her. I already call her my daughter-in-law and consider her a part of the family. Little does she know that my son has already bought her a ring and plans to propose during her birthday vacation in September. I'm so happy for them. I cannot wait to see their futures develop as spouses and eventually as parents when the time comes. My heart is overflowing with happiness and excitement for their journey ahead. She actually told me how she is proposing. It's also during the birthday vacation. She said she is creating a 2-chapter book with custom art of all their firsts in chapter 1 and the proposal and ring in chapter 2. She is very creative. My son said her first Christmas gift to him was a remastered version of his favorite video game song. She hired a composer friend of hers to do it. Smiley face. Wow, what a contrast from the mother-in-law in the first story, right? OP, this sounds awesome. It sounds like the relationship you have with your future daughter-in-law, or already daughter-in-law as you like to call her, is amazing. Now, in the comment section, OP promised to give us an update, so let's move on with that to see how this story ends. My son Sean recently reached out to me with a request. He asked if I could take Lexi ring shopping with me, since I'm in the process of designing a new ring for myself. He thought it would be the perfect opportunity for Lexi to see different styles and find her ideal ring. Sean shared with me that Lexi prefers something simple and not overly flashy. She told him, anything bigger than 2 carats is for ego. I would just like a simple solitaire under 2 carats with no fancy band and a meaningful engraving. While Sean, being a successful environmental attorney, wanted to splurge on something beautiful and expensive for Lexi, her preferences are clear. A little backstory. When they were dating and Sean was struggling to land a big law job, Lexi supported him without a complaint. She always told him, if I was in my residency and you had your big job, you'd do the same. We just have to be patient. It will come, and one day we will laugh about it at our wedding. Lexi enjoys expensive things, but she firmly believes that her fancy habits and tastes are hers to finance, never putting the burden on Sean. So, I'm taking Lexi to my jeweler this Friday and I'm incredibly excited to see her pick out her ring. That's such a nice story, OP. Thank you for sharing. I know it's not the final update because apparently the proposal is going to be in September, but I just wanted to share this story, which is so nice to hear from a mother-in-law that loves the couple. Again, as in contrast to that first mother-in-law. Anyways, again, OP, thanks so much for sharing and hopefully we get another update. I'll be following up. In the meantime, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user StorySkeller. You want me to clear the dead grass or I'll be fined? I will clean exactly my property. Disclaimer, non-English speaker, not in the US, this story started in 2017, was repeated every year until this year, and I have promised my father-in-law to repeat the compliance if it happens again. My in-laws used to live just outside of town. They moved this past fall to my mother-in-law's home island and we moved in their place. And when I say just outside, I mean about 2 meters outside of the city plan to be exact. And important for later, the city plan reached up to the middle of the dirt road and separated their property with the neighboring one. So back in the spring of 2017, my in-laws received a letter from the city council about cleaning their property from dead grass in preparation for summer due to fire hazards, or they would be fined. The letter and the deadline, end of May, were normal. What wasn't normal was the area named. It was their property, the property next to them inside city limits, and the road in between. My father-in-law took the letter to the council and explained that the property next to him didn't belong to him and couldn't clean it. They appeared to accept it, but something was nagging him. Now, my father-in-law had worked inexactly in 2 companies in life. Both of them handling big government contracts, and his main job was to take care of red tape and government bureaucracy. So he found the exact law that said that the owner was responsible for their property and the city was responsible for any roads and any properties inside city limits that an owner couldn't be found. He had also found, through his connections, that the local council was under investigation for misappropriation of funds, including the funds for cleaning lots that were considered fire hazards. The tactic they used was to include lots that fell under their responsibility to nearby owners and either intimidate with the fear of a fine to clean them or fine them and pocket the money. My father-in-law decided to become creative. First, he gathered all the plants related to his property and the one next to him. Next, he cleared his property. He was planning to do that anyway, but only that. He cleared the part of the road that fell outside city limits, and then he waited. The deadline passed, and about 10 days later, a hefty fine arrived. My father-in-law challenged it officially. The council tried to enforce the fine, and my father-in-law challenged it again, presenting his evidence on an open forum of the council. The council insisted they were on the right, and if my father-in-law didn't pay, they would take legal action. My father-in-law agreed happily to the legal action. This led to the court appointing an outside inspector to check the property, the city plans, and the work my father-in-law had done. The council not only lost the case and had to pay legal fees, but were forced to an outside audit that led to a couple of councilmen facing criminal charges. Every year since then, my father-in-law used to clean his property and exactly up to the middle of the road next to him. That duty has been passed down to me now, which I fulfilled this year. OP, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. I love it when pencil-pushing bureaucrats get what's coming to them. Chef's kiss, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.